Oh wow, buckle in, get ready for fun and learning. This is a Homeschool Pop U.S. States video. In this video, we are learning about the state of Illinois. And the first question we are answering is, what are the state nicknames? In other words, what are some other names for Illinois? Illinois is called the Prairie State. Do you have any idea why it might be called the Prairie State? Well, most of the land in Illinois is very flat and there are tons of farms. That's why it's called the Prairie State. Illinois is also called the Land of Lincoln, which has actually been on the license plates of Illinois since 1954. Abraham Lincoln spent much of his life in Illinois. He lived in Springfield, the capital of Illinois, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves here. Okay, well, where is Illinois? Where in the United States is Illinois? Illinois is right here. It's colored blue. Illinois is in a region of the United States called the Midwest. Let's review. Illinois has two main nicknames, the Prairie State and the Land of Lincoln. And Illinois is right here in the Midwest region of the United States. Let's learn some more cool facts about the state of Illinois, the Prairie State, the Land of Lincoln. Here is the state flag of Illinois. And here is what is called the Seal of Illinois. The two look very similar, don't they? They both feature an eagle with the state motto in its beak, State Sovereignty, National Union. That was their way of saying, we make our own decisions as a state, but we're part of a bigger family, the family of the United States of America. Now you may have noticed there are 2 years in this seal, 1818 and 1868. Those 2 years are very special to the people of Illinois. You see, Illinois became a state in 1818. And this picture of the eagle became the seal of Illinois in 1868. Okay, so here is Illinois again. What a nice looking state. In the northeastern part of the state is Chicago. Chicago's right there on the top. Do you see it? Chicago is the largest city in Illinois. And then Springfield, another major city of Illinois, is down near the middle of the state. Springfield is the capital of Illinois. And do you remember who lived in Springfield? Yeah, Abraham Lincoln. Remember, Illinois is also called the Land of Lincoln. That's a nickname of Illinois. And Abraham Lincoln lived in the capital, Springfield. Let's talk more about Chicago, the largest city in Illinois. Chicago is one of the most famous cities in the United States. In fact, you've probably heard of it before. It's incredible. About 10 million people live in Chicago. 10 million people! In fact, it is the third highest populated city in the United States. In this picture, do you see the people's reflection on that thing that kind of looks like glass? Well, that is something called Cloudgate. At the time we're making this video, it's about 12 years old, and it's a fascinating piece of art, and it's nicknamed the Bean because it looks like a giant bean in the middle of Chicago, and it's a place people love to go and get their pictures taken. If you ever want to see a giant bean, I mean, it's Cloudgate, but something that looks like a bean. Go to Chicago and say, I want to see the bean. Now, this is kind of cool. Chicago has been called the Windy City since the 1800s. Truth be told, people argue about the origin of the nickname, but Chicago is a very windy city. There's a lot of wind there, so no matter what the origin of that name is, the name fits. So it's kind of stuck around all through these years. When you hear the name Windy City, think of Chicago. You know, we've been talking about Chicago, but remember, Illinois is the Prairie State. Farming is a big part of Illinois' economy, and so much of the state is made up of farmland. Illinois truly is the Prairie State. Alright, here's the final question. What is the state bird? What is the state bird of Illinois? The state bird of Illinois is the cardinal. The cardinal is the state bird of Illinois. Cardinals are most well known for their red color, but they have very, very loud calls, and they're very territorial, and they look super cool. Wow, that wraps it up. Thanks for watching this homeschool pop video on Illinois, the Prairie State, the land of Lincoln.